Happy Saturday, my friend. Kelly Dunlap here, wellness coach. I'm here to help you today. Please feel free to share this. We're going to spend a little bit of time together because I am going to show you a very simple technique on how you can free yourself very easily and effectively from negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. And I know during this uncertain time, we have a lot of that going on, and I am here to help. To give you a little bit of background on myself and how I'm able to teach this to you, let me just plug in my headphones. I think you might hear me a little clearer. I am a certified emotional freedom technique practitioner. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist, life success coach, etc. Don't need to bore you with all those details. I look like I have a floating head because you really can't see my background. I have a black background. So I'm here today to help. If you know of somebody that is getting caught up in the mess of the negative emotions of what is going on at the moment, I am here to help you. And when you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you information on how you can tap into something, a nice little resource of mine for free. Now, let's talk about what those negative emotions can do, right? So let's talk just a little bit about the perception, right? So we all have our own perception of the world. We have our own internal representation of what is going on based on our prior experiences and just in general, to be honest with you, like the way that we were raised, the way that our past generations that we've been around, the way that they've handled situations and how they respond to certain things. Now, I'm just going to say this right now, that right now is a really good opportunity for you to see exactly where your emotional home is. It was interesting for me to see that I would say maybe the first day when this whole thing had started and they really started to close things down and, you know, the schools and things like that, that people were already assuming that they were they were in financial ruin. They were assuming that it was just doom and gloom. And now, mind you, let me just preface this by saying that I am not taking any of this in the sense that, yes, I do realize that businesses and the economy are going to be affected. However, this is very temporary, and it really is all about the way that you frame things. And it's all about where you are living emotionally. Now, if you feel fear, anxiety, uncertainty, and these feelings that are debilitating and maybe catapult you into a feeling of, you know, just feeling awful, and your gut, you just feel nauseated, you don't want to eat, there's all of these things, and there's a good chance that emotionally you are not present. You are in one of these two places. You are either living in your past, you're in a past chapter that has already taken place, and there's nothing that you can do about it, right? It's done, it's gone, it's over. Or you are worried about the future. You are worried about something that 99.9% of the time is not going to happen. You have to realize too that we have a lot of mind trash, or head trash, as my coach calls it, which I love that when he shared that with me. We have a lot of head trash that goes on in our mind. Our mind is a very scary place if we allow ourselves to listen. What you are hearing, you don't have to believe and take on as your truth. And that's what I'm here to help you with today. Is it true, the thought that you just had? Is it true that, you know, this is going to happen? Is it true that that is going to happen? Most of the time, what we are conjuring up in our mind, we have either taken it from somebody else's belief, or it is something we don't really have evidence of. But let me tell you, your brain is always going to look for evidence to collect, to basically not reassure, but it'll start collecting evidence towards that belief. So really, really, really be careful where your thoughts are. Are you living in the past? Are you worried about the future? That you cannot predict. Nobody can. But what you can do is be present right here in this moment, right here. Now, I've shared this with you before, and it would be arrogant and ignorant for me to think that you have all that are present here and watching that have heard me talk about this, but this is a finger pinch. And this is something that is a very easy tool that you can use. You just take your pointer and your thumb and you just pinch it together and you ask yourself, what was the thought that I just had? Or why am I thinking this way? Or I use it a lot with my clients with their eating, which is, am I really hungry? Am I thirsty? Do I need a hug? Which, by the way, I've been seeing a lot about this COVID-15 or what have you. Don't lean into that. Like, don't buy into, well, I'm just, only things that's available is, if you find yourself overeating, making poor choices and things like that, use the finger pinch. And we're not going to go down the eating road right now. We're going to stay in the emotions, and we're going to talk about this little tool. Finger pinch, super simple. So it'll help you become present. It'll help you. You could even kind of like, I will take and I will look and I will really get close and really look at my fingers. And I know it sounds silly, but what it does is it takes me away from where I was. Typically, like I said, when we are in this state of mind, right, because our emotions will trigger a state of mind, then the state of mind will then trigger certain behaviors. So start to pay really close attention as to maybe what triggers you, the thoughts that you had, what just happened. And it's not a bad idea for you to document these things down. Like, oh my gosh, I realize that every time I turn on that damn King show, people are so obsessed with this Netflix thing, it cracks me up, that I get triggered. Now, here's a great example. I was watching something last night. Dr. Don Bretz had shared with me, watch The Goop Lab with Gwyneth Paltrow. And it was interesting because as I was watching them go through this, they drank some mushroom kind of concoction. And what it was is this whole process was basically helping them to connect their subconscious and their conscious and their emotions together so they could ultimately release, right? Now, it triggered me. As I watched these individuals laying on the floor kind of out of control, I started to feel a sense of anxiety. Now, why? So I'm talking with my biz bestie, Sandra, in Canada, and I said, I just got triggered. I'm watching this, Goop Lab. What I am seeing, what my perception of this was somebody that it reminded me of like when I got wasted on drinking and I had no control. Like, have you ever had that feeling when you're laying on the ground, you're like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I'm so drunk or wasted, and your head is spinning, and I felt all of those emotions that I would have felt if I was wasted. So that is a great example of a trigger. So pay close attention as to things around you that might be triggering a specific state of mind, hence pulling forward some past emotions. And I'm going to teach you how to rid of these emotions and feelings. Now, luckily for me, I could feel the sense of anxiety in my breath. Like even just talking about that gives me this little bit of discomfort, because I don't ever want to feel like that again, ever. I don't want to feel out of control. Being wasted to me was very uncertain, wasn't sure exactly what my body was going to do next, right? So that's just a little example in my personal experience, okay? Now, we all get triggered in many ways throughout the day, but we may not recognize the triggers because it oftentimes is not presented to you. You don't really recognize it. People can be triggers. Like right now, we're all in a different dynamic than we typically are. Right now, my husband is home all day long, and I would be lying if I said it's not making me a little crazy because I'm not used to having him around, right? It's like, okay, get out of my way kind of thing. Just joking. But it's different. It's a little bit more There's another energy in the room that I have to contend with now. There's more dishes, there's more this, there's more that, there's another need in the house, right? So we all have this whole different dynamic going on that we are typically not used to. However, on the positive end, because I don't necessarily want this to, to seem like I'm saying this is a negative thing, but this is such a great opportunity. Like myself, and I know so many other people are telling you, and I'm telling this to you right now, this is your opportunity to deal with the shit that you've been shoving down. And this technique that I'm going to teach you is going to also help you to pull out some of that crap so that you can ultimately release it. Now, what is it that I'm talking about? I'm talking about emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. I like to call EFT empowered forward thinking. Okay, so that is what I like to refer to EFT as. I didn't create it, but it is something that is how I look at it, because what is it that we are doing? I am helping you to come out of the future and the past. I'm helping you to become present and move forward empowered, in an empowered way, feeling very empowered. Living in the past and the worry of the future is not empowering at all. Okay? It's victimy. It's just a way of staying stuck. I could go on and on and on and on and on, right? But this is where you don't want to be, especially in a time like this. Bring yourself present. Okay, so tapping, let's talk about it. Super cool. This is something that you can do on your own, anywhere, at any time, in your car, in front of your family, what have you. You can teach this to your children. This is my gift to you. I'm going to give you access to my program at the end. I'll give you the information because I won't be able to type it into the link, but stick around because I'm going to teach you how to do it. Super, super easy and simple. Now, in my program, you're going to get, I call it tapping into weight loss. And what I mean by weight, it doesn't mean physical weight. When you deal with the emotional stuff, the physical, it will just be a byproduct, because I'm telling you, a lot of what's going on in your head is one of the biggest reasons why you're hanging on to weight. But again, that's a whole other topic. So this is why I call it tapping into weight loss. Now, inside, you're going to get a complete guide telling you what this is all about, what it means, why is this so effective? We're basically, what we're doing, my friend, is I'm helping you to release negative, stuck, blocked energy that is within you. So for example, I'm going to show you how it works. So here's an example. Let's just say I'm worried about Paul's job or something like that. And then let's say I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, so I don't like the way that I feel when I think about that uncertainty. So on a level from 1 to 10, where do I sit with that? I would say, okay, and I'm just kind of putting this out there because, to be honest with you, I am not fearful whatsoever. I don't have any fears about this whole situation at all. But let's just say I was an 8, just for an example. So let's say I'm an 8 and I'm really losing sleep. I'm emotional eating. I'm bitchy to those that are around me. I am not maintaining my self-care. I am slipping into this darkness. So I'm an 8, but I really would love to feel a release from this. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I need to handle this. I need to release this. So what tapping does, number one, is it helps you to give a voice to that fear that is spinning around in your mind, because that's really what it is. I'm taking you from fear to love. That's it. There are 2 core emotions in our world, and they all stem from fear or love, right? So we're giving fear a voice, and we will start with what's called a karate chop. Now, once again, all of this is explained. You get a guide, and you also get videos. You're going to get a guidebook, also 5 books and 5 videos. So it's a lot of information for you. Don't feel overwhelmed. It's just repetition and information. So here we go. So I'm going to give you an example, and you can tap with me if you desire to, or you can just watch just to kind of make that connection and understand what it is that I'm doing. So what I do is I rate myself 1 to 10. So let's say I'm an 8. Then I would start with what's called the karate chop. Okay, so I just take my 2 fingers and I go up against my hand, and I'm going to repeat 3 times a statement that sounds something like this. Even though I have high anxiety about Paul and his job, I still love and completely adore myself. Even though I'm very worried and uncertain about our future and Paul's job, I completely love and adore myself. You do this 3 times, 3rd time. Even though I'm losing sleep over this and uncertainty and uncertain times, I completely love and adore myself. Now, there are certain areas that we're going to tap on, and this is very similar to acupuncture and acupressure, if you've ever heard of that, okay? So if you are somebody that had been going to acupressure or acupuncture, then you can use tapping and replace. Now, the first spot is above the eye. So you would, tap maybe 7 to 10 times, and I'm going to give you scripts to use as an example, but you don't script tapping. You just basically go with the thought that comes to your mind. So let's just say in my mind, I'm thinking, this uncertainty is making me crazy. Side of the eye. I really do not like not knowing what is going to happen. Every single day, I'm seeing something different. So now I'm going under the eye. Okay, so these are specific tapping points. Every day, I'm seeing something different. One day, they're saying that they're going back on the 14th. Another day, they're saying something different. I'm on the chin now, and I'm going to my collarbone. And I also have Paul saying that he doesn't know if he's ever going to have a job. So now he's totally all in fear. Now I've got that emotion to deal with, that energy. And you go under the arm. Why am I so worried about this? I'm going to go on top of the head. So I'm still releasing these thoughts, all this thinking. Now what you'll tend to find is there's always going to be something underneath, more in the core. So this is very worrisome. However, I have to realize that this is something I don't have any control over. Everything always works out. So why am I putting myself through this pain and suffering? This is really painful. I don't like the way that this feels. But for some reason, I am allowing myself to continue to go there. Why is it that I find myself always going into the past or into the future? Because I'll think of the past and I think of good times and financial security, and then all of a sudden I get a sick feeling in my stomach about the future. But if I just start to stay present, and if I begin to just focus on us and really see the positive in this. Now, if you see what's happening, do you see how I'm making a shift? Because what you'll do is you're going to release the shit. Then you're going to pull in some positive stuff, right? I need to just take advantage of this time that he's home. Oh my God, there's so many projects that I could have him work on. And it's actually kind of nice because I'm actually able to get a little bit more sleep because he's here helping with Ayana. And what's the worst that could possibly happen? What is it that I am just so fearful of? Well, gosh, if the fear is that we're going to lose our home or something, well, that's really crazy. Like, why in the world would I think something like that? And then do you see how I just kind of go through, right? And then once I recognize, okay, I tap through and I go through all these statements, then I can go through and I can then put in positive affirmations, like everything is going to be just fine. Everything's going to be great. We're all in this together. Something great and positive is happening because of all of this. We all just don't see it yet, but I'm really excited. I'm going to continue to lead by example in a positive way to Paul. I am going to continue to lead by example and not be fearful. There's nothing to be afraid of. In fact, this is an opportunity for growth. Why have I not seen that? Why have I been sinking into those negative thoughts and feelings? This is a great opportunity. I feel so much better about all of this already, right? So that's the process of it. Now, I really didn't have anything that I was releasing specifically, but I can tell you this, that whenever I do any type of tapping like that, I always either get a or I perspire a little bit. And that's me releasing those negative emotions. So then you rate yourself again and you say, okay, I was an 8. Now I feel like I'm about a 5. I think I'm feeling better, but I'd like to feel great about this. So I'm going to continue to tap again, and then you can continue to do another round. So it's all explained in here. And here's an example of one of the days that I had given, which this one is the limiting belief is to be fit and healthy. Everything I do while working on it must be perfect. And what I do in here is I give you in this sheet here from 1 to 10, how intense is it? That's the, before you do your karate chop, where I was an 8. Then you do your statements with your karate chop. And then I just give you example statements on what somebody might be saying while they're tapping through. But again, these statements are your own. They're in your own mind, and it is your responsibility to release it in order to get that release. Now, I had somebody message me, actually 2 people messaged me, but the one person messaged me yesterday and said, I am feeling these feelings of anxiety. I don't know what to do. Do you have anything that can help me? And so I sent her right away to my tapping program. And probably within an hour, she said, oh my God, I cannot believe how different I feel. I release like so much toxic, I can't remember exactly her words. And what I'll do is I will make a post about it because it was very powerful for me to see that I was able to take her from being here way over here, helping her to really move through this emotion, which otherwise would have been very difficult for her to release. So it'll take you maybe a matter of 10 or 15 minutes or so, if that, depending. But again, in this guide, I talk about, and if you don't have a printer, no big deal, just read it on your laptop or your phone. But I talk about, the benefits of it. This will help with those states of mind of feeling overwhelmed. It also gives you a little image here of, the tapping points. But the videos are set in place for you to just practice with me. But ultimately, this is just something that you will do on your own. And once again, it's not about creating a script. Those are just set in place for you to practice. That's all. So if you have any questions or anything, please feel free. How do you access it? Now, I will not be able to type in the link because Facebook will not let me type any link with my name in it because they think that I'm spamming or something. And how you will access it, go ahead and write this down, grab a piece of paper and a pen, is you will go to www.kellydunlap.com and then you'll do a / tap, T-A-P. Okay, so www.kellydunlap.com / tap. And that will give you access to the program. How many pages is it? So the guidebook, maybe like 12 or so, but you could always do double-sided if you want. And then the guidebooks, those are about 5 pages long, something like that. Okay, so it's all there for you. I'm happy to gift that to you. Feel free to share that at this time. I really do feel that this is super important to help you guys, because this is a tool and resource, honestly, that you can utilize for the rest of your life. And if you are, let's say you don't like feel comfortable doing the actual tapping, my mentor, Dr. Jade Tita, he shared with me like that he gets anxious when he flies. So what he will do is he will press on those points so that people don't look at him like, what is it you're doing, right? So he doesn't make make it obvious or what have you. So instead of, tapping here, he'll do like this, he said, like on top of the eye, then he'll, say it in his mind calmly, and then he'll go on the side and he'll say his thought. And then, he'll go underneath the eye. And you could do one side, you could do both at the same time, whatever it is that you feel. Feel free to share this, you guys. Totally open with, helping as many people that I possibly can. And this, once again, is to help you. And please message me if you have any questions at all. But the program is laid out very specifically. You'll have the videos, all of that stuff. There might be an email sequence attached to this, just an FYI, because this was something that I had given to a summit that I was a part of. So if you're getting emails from me after this and you feel like, oh my God, I don't feel like hearing from Kelly Dunlap anymore, she's making me crazy, I don't ever take it personally when somebody unsubscribes from my email list. However, I would love to have you. But just an FYI on that. I just, prefacing this, just basically want to let you know that this is not about, capturing sales or anything like that. This is about me wanting to share a tool and a resource that I have for you, and it would be super selfish for me not to share, especially during this time. Okay, awesome. So you guys are so welcome. Boy, oh boy, I can't believe it, 27 minutes already went by. Another thing I want to share too with you is if you're not a part of my daily wellness text, you might want to be a part of that as well. I will go ahead and I'll put that in the comments, and all you have to do is text the word tip to 586-501-8330. And in this list, it's basically a way for me to just say, hey, here's a positive tip for the day, or here's a positive mindset tip for the day, or here's a little nutrition tip for you, or, whatever it is. I get a lot of feedback on it. A lot of people love it. I've been doing it for over a year now. And it's just a simple little text message. And maybe some of you that are on right now had received the text message. And I basically, said, hey, I'll be live in 5 minutes. So it's just a way for me to easily communicate with you, also share some of my favorite things and quotes and things like that. And just to kind of keep you in a positive arena and help you with anything that I possibly can. So that there is in the comments. And again, it's just text the word tip, which is TIP, to 586-501-8330. And then you can be added in to my list. And again, on that, I have people that will opt in. And then maybe after a while, if they're like, oh, I don't feel like hearing from Kelly Dunlap again, God, she's all over the place, which sometimes I'll get that. And, you can easily opt out by just sending a message that says stop, and again, I don't ever take it personally. It's really, I want people to receive the information, those that are open to it and wanting it, I want that. But if I don't want somebody looking at it going, oh, it's her again, ew, just opt out. It's not that big of a deal. So, oh, you're so welcome, Karen. You're welcome, Ida. Thank you so much. So, okay. I think that's everything. Yeah, I believe that's everything that I wanted to share. So if you're just hopping on, make sure that you go back to the beginning, watch the replay. Hope that this helps you. Please provide feedback. Let me know how you're doing. If you do implement this, and if you do start to, find that you're getting some release and results, let me know. Now, just an FYI, I have tapped in the past and I have had emotional releases other than just the perspiration and that exhale. I have cried. before. So, you know, that's a possibility too. But you just have to remember that this is about letting go of this yuckiness. Think about it like, think about it as if, like, you know, we're opening ourselves up to let out some garbage, right? Let the trash out. So have a wonderful day. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.